Let me do this part two, continuing with this. I gave you a read-in temperature in Fahrenheit, calculate the temperature in formula because we're converting from Fahrenheit to Celsius, and then we're going to have to output the Celsius with it. So I started out here from the last time with this, and we had a start here, and I kind of started you with it. And then I had two T's there. And what I need to do is continue to show you what actually happens next with it. So the next part is you need to have a line in here with it. And you could use shapes in here, and I'm going to use this arrow right here just to depict a line. It's up to you how you want to draw this in with it. But the first thing is step one, read the temperature from Fahrenheit. So you need to basically allocate some memory how to read into this thing, right? So I'm just going to go back to insert. I'm going to insert some shapes here. It would, again, the input would need to be a rhomboid shape with it, which is this shape right here. So okay, put it in. So somewhere in here, I would actually say input Fahrenheit. Okay, so degrees. So you need to have some inputting in this end with it, and then the next step you would actually do is you need to have some sort of calculate the temperature with it, and the shape that I'm going to have to use for that again, you would actually use the arrow, and I'm going to use that same arrow that I use here, just copy and paste that. And then I need to have insert in the shape that is a rectangle because it is a processing shape with it. Okay, so this is going to be the calculation of this. So calculate this formula right here. I'm just going to use this formula. And that's where that goes in with it as well. And then of course I need to step number 3, how to output this thing. So I'll let you finish the rest of this, and again it needs to end. Okay, so I'll let you finish the rest of that. So you got this. So the second exercise I want to talk to you about is the algorithm flowcharts of finding the sum of the first 50 numbers. First of all, you have to understand what you're doing. What you're looking for is the sum of the first 50 numbers. So you start with 0, 1, 2, and you add up all those numbers until you get to 50. All right. So let me check my time right here. Let me pause right here, and I'm going to actually start a fresh video for this part in there as well. Let me pause. Okay, so let me do this next part over here, which is exercise number 2. There's only 2 exercises, right? And this exercise, this whole exercise 1 and 2, is worth 10 points for your lab and your homework with it. Each one of these is worth 5 points each, and most of the points are here with it. But I don't want to type on this and clarify this and let you kind of understand this a little bit, how this works. Again, I just wrote step 1, 2, and 3 start out with. You're welcome to put more steps in. I don't care. It's just, there's more than one way to skin a cat with it, but as long as you can do it the same way, get the same output, that's why I carry the logic behind this right now with it. So to make things simpler with it, I want to open up a notepad and talk to you about the algorithm for this problem right here. So in this problem, like I said, you need to add up the first 50 integers and write the algorithm. Where would you actually start? Well, the first thing you need to do is when you think of containers, a cup, a glass, something that holds a RAM memory to store things into, a variable. All right, that's what we're looking at. And you need to define this as some sort of integer, and you need to clear out this integer with it. So you have one is the number that you're going to be adding, and the other one is the sum. So two variables that you got to think about this. Now these are actually the RAM memory that you are allocating in. So remember that parking lot structure I was telling you about, what the RAM memory is about? This is what this is. So the first thing you need to do is to come in, initialize, step 1, and this, you need to initialize the n and sum to 0. Zero it out. That's the first thing you need to do. So after you do that, you basically allocate memory for this. That's the first step. The second step is you need to come in and you need to assume that the n starting number, both n is the starting number and needs to increment to 50. So in C++, how you add a number to this is there are several ways you can do it. Hence, you got to initialize it to 0. That's what's called initializing it. And in programming, you have to declare it, the data type, and then you set it equal to 0. That's initializing it, allocating the memory to make a data type of an int, double a certain data type that you want to use to it. In this case, of course, it's just a 4-byte integer will work with it. The second step I would do is you need to come in and you need to assume that sum variable is what you want to add up. Store and output the variable for the program. Hence, you initialize sum is equal to 0. Now, both of these are data type int, for example, by now. So you have that. Oops. You have that right now. That's what you're looking at. Next, I would actually come in and bring in. I would start out with adding 0. 0 plus 1 updates the n. So n now is initialized to 0, starting at 0 because you start n with 0. And so you put 0 for the n in here, so n now is update to 1, right? So in the memory, the 0 gets crossed out, striked out, it's replaced with a 1. It looks like this, okay? Now it looks like this. The next step I would do is I would come in and the sum variable is the total. So you need to put 0 and n to equal to 1. So if I did this, I would actually have sum is plus 2n. This n is this n. So 0 plus 1 updates the sum to sum is 1. So you have n is 1, sum is 1. Okay? And then you have to do a check test. Then you have to check to see, or test, to see when n reaches 50. If n is less than 50, then you're going to return back to step number 4 and continue to add to that 1, 2, until it becomes 20 with it. And after, if it's, I'm sorry, I keep on saying 20. It's supposed to be 50. Then if it's less, if it fails in this step with it, then you exit out. Basically, you have to output the n after you do that with it. So if it's true that it's less than 50, then you continue to add 1 to it. If it's false, if n is 50, which is false, then you output it to the screens. Okay, so this is what's called an algorithm. And an algorithm is basically, it's written English words that you can actually, you can hear this term algorithm, pseudocode. They're pretty much synonyms with it as well. So hope this helps. Like I said, these are the basic algorithms with it. Your job now is to put this into a flowchart as part of this. Okay. All right. Very well. Thank you.